Auvik Certification Exam. Question 1. What is the primary function of the Auvik collector? To act as a firewall. To discover and monitor devices on a local network and send data to the Auvik cloud. To store historical video footage. To provide Wi-Fi access to guests. The Auvik collector is a software or virtual appliance that sits on the local network to scan and monitor devices. Question 2. Which protocol is primarily used by Auvik to retrieve performance data from network switches and routers? HTTP, SNMP, FTP, SMTP. Simple Network Management Protocol, SNMP, is the industry standard used by Auvik to monitor network hardware performance. Question 3. What is the minimum recommended RAM for a Windows-based Auvik collector? 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB. For a Windows-based collector monitoring a standard environment, Auvik recommends at least 8 GB of RAM for optimal performance. Question 4. How does Auvik visualize the relationship between network devices? Through a text-based list, through an automated real-time topology map, by printing a PDF report, by using GPS coordinates. Auvik automatically generates a dynamic topology map that shows how devices are physically and logically connected. Question 5. What does a discovery scan in Auvik require to be successful? The CEO's permission, valid credentials, SNMP/WMI/CLI, and IP ranges, a physical connection to every port, and internet connection on every device. Auvik needs the correct IP ranges to scan and the appropriate credentials to log into and query the devices. Question 6. In Auvik, what is deep packet inspection used for? To read private emails, to analyze traffic flows and identify which applications are consuming bandwidth, to encrypt the hard drive, to speed up the internet. Auvik uses traffic analysis, flow, to show which applications and users are using the most data on the network. Question 7. Which of the following is a managed device in Auvik terminology? A dumb switch, a device where Auvik can pull performance data and configurations, a laptop that is turned off, a printer with no network card. Managed devices are those that Auvik can actively monitor and manage via protocols like SNMP or CLI. Question 8. Auvik can automatically backup configurations for which types of devices? Printers and scanners, supported network switches, routers and firewalls, Windows laptops, smart TVs. Auvik provides automated configuration backups and version history for a wide range of supported networking hardware. Question 9. What color is a device on the Auvik map if it is currently offline? Green, yellow, red, blue. Red indicates a critical status such as a device being down or unreachable. Question 10. What is the Auvik inventory? A list of office furniture. A searchable database of every device discovered on the network including serial numbers and firmware. A catalog of software for sale. A payroll system. The inventory provides a comprehensive look at all hardware details including make, model, serial number and OS versions. Question 11. How often does Auvik check for configuration changes on supported devices? Every 5 minutes, every 60 minutes, once a day, only when manually triggered. Auvik checks for config changes every 60 minutes and saves a new version if a change is detected. Question 12. Which protocol does Auvik use to discover and monitor Windows-based workstations? SSH, WMI, ICMP, Apple Talk. Windows Management Instrumentation, WMI, is used to gather detailed hardware and software data from Windows machines. Question 13. What is an alert in Auvik? A text message from the ISP. A notification triggered by a specific network condition or threshold being met. A sound the collector makes. A pop-up on the user's desktop. Alerts are used to notify administrators of issues like high CPU usage, port flaps, or device down events. Question 14. Can Auvik manage multiple clients or sites from a single dashboard? No, only one site per login. Yes, using a multi-tenant MSP dashboard. Only if they are in the same building. Only if they use the same ISP. Auvik is built for multi-tenancy, allowing MSPs to manage many different client networks from one central console. Question 15. What is port mapping in Auvik? A map of the nearest harbor. The ability to see exactly which device is plugged into which physical port on a switch. A way to open firewall ports. A list of TCP ports. Auvik shows the mapping of MAC addresses to specific physical switch ports. Question 16. What is the Auvik Cloud? A weather forecasting service. The centralized web interface where data from all collectors is processed and displayed. A storage for personal photos. The internal memory of a switch. The Auvik Cloud is the SaaS platform that users log into to view their network data. Question 17. Which of the following is a requirement for Auvik Flow traffic analysis? The device must support NetFlow, SFlow, or JFlow. The device must have a webcam. The device must be a printer. The device must be running Linux. To see traffic flows, the network hardware must be capable of exporting flow data to the Auvik collector. Question 18. What does dismissing an alert in Auvik do? Deletes the device from the map. Silences the notification without fixing the underlying issue. Fixes the problem automatically. Reboots the collector. Dismissing an alert acknowledges it and clears the notification from the dashboard. Question 19. What is a shared secret in the context of Auvik Flow? A password for the Auvik forum. A key used to authenticate NetFlow/SFlow data between the device and the collector. The collector's serial number. A hidden feature in the software. Some flow protocols require a shared secret to ensure the data is coming from a trusted source. Question 20. How does Auvik handle duplicate IP addresses on a network? It renames the devices. It identifies them as a potential conflict and displays them in the inventory. It deletes both devices. It crashes the collector. Auvik alerts you to IP conflicts which can cause significant network instability. Question 21. Which of the following is not a method for deploying the Auvik collector? OVA file for VMware. Windows installer. Docker container. Installing it on a smartphone. Auvik collectors can be installed on Windows Linux, via Docker, or as a virtual appliance but not on mobile OS. Question 22. What is terminal access in Auvik? The end of the network cable. An in-browser CLI tool to access switches and routers without needing a separate VPN. A place to buy plane tickets. A hardware device sold by Auvik. Auvik's remote browser feature allows you to launch a CLI session directly from the device's dashboard. Question 23. What is the purpose of maintenance windows in Auvik? To clean the server room. To suppress alerts during scheduled downtime so technicians aren't flooded with notifications. To update the Auvik website. To turn off the network at night. Maintenance windows ensure that known downtime doesn't trigger false alarms or affect SLA reports. Question 24. What is stale data in Auvik? Data that is over 5 years old. Information from a device that hasn't been seen by the collector for a certain period. A type of computer virus. A physical defect in the hard drive. Auvik marks data as stale when it can no longer communicate with the device to get fresh updates. Question 25. What is the Auvik API used for? To browse the internet. To integrate Auvik with other software like PSA's RMMs or custom reporting tools. To fix broken cables. To play music. The API allows for the programmatic exchange of data between Auvik and third-party applications. Question 26. Which integration allows Auvik to automatically sync its inventory with a professional services tool? Slack, ConnectWise PSA, Spotify, Microsoft Word. Auvik integrates with PSAs like ConnectWise manage to sync configurations and assets. Question 27. What is syslog monitoring in Auvik? A way to read a ship's log. The ability to collect and centralize log messages from network devices for troubleshooting. A type of system clock. A chat application for engineers. Auvik can act as a syslog server to help identify errors that might not show up via SNMP. Question 28. What does the Traffic Insights feature provide? GPS traffic for the commute. Detailed visibility into who is using the network and for what applications, e.g. Netflix versus Zoom. A way to speed up the car. A count of how many people are in the office. Traffic Insights, using flow data, helps identify bandwidth hogs and security anomalies. Question 29. In Auvik, what is a tenant? A person who rents an apartment. A unique client environment within the Auvik multi-tenant hierarchy. A type of network cable. A brand of router. Each client managed by an MSP is typically set up as a separate tenant or site. Question 30. What happens when you ignore a device in Auvik? The device is moved to a secret map. Auvik stops monitoring the device and it no longer counts toward your billable total. The device is physically turned off. The device is reported to the police. Ignoring a device is useful for things like guest phones or home devices that don't need professional monitoring. Question 31. What is the default community string often used for SNMP v1/v2? Admin password. Public. 1234. Public is the common factory default, but it should be changed for security. Question 32. What is a loop in a network topology? A type of knot in a cable. A circular path that can cause a broadcast storm and crash the network. A way to repeat a song. A backup power supply. Auvik helps identify spanning tree issues or physical loops that can bring down a network. Question 33. What is SNMP polling? A survey sent to network users. The process where the collector asks a device for data at regular intervals. A way to vote for the best router. A method for cleaning a switch. Auvik polls devices typically every 60 seconds for performance metrics. Question 34. What is the benefit of automated documentation in Auvik? It writes the technician's resume. It keeps network maps and inventories updated without manual entry. It prints the user manual for the router. It automatically emails the client every hour. Auvik's primary value is removing the need for manually drawn Visio diagrams that quickly become outdated. Question 35. Which Auvik feature helps identify shadow IT? The search bar. Discovery of unauthorized devices or unauthorized cloud applications. The light sensor on the collector. The password reset button. By seeing every device and every traffic flow, Auvik can find devices, like personal routers, that shouldn't be on the network. Question 36. What is global search in Auvik? A way to find a restaurant. A tool to find any device IP, MAC or serial number across all managed sites. A search engine for the internet. A map of the world. Global search is powerful for MSPs who need to find where a specific piece of equipment is located among hundreds of clients. Question 37. What is an OID in the context of SNMP? An only in district code. An object identifier that points to a specific piece of data on a device. A type of network port. An official information document. OIDs are used to identify specific metrics, like CPU temp, within a MIB. Question 38. What is a MIB management information base? A brand of network switch. A text file that tells Auvik how to interpret SNMP data from a specific manufacturer. A secret government agency. The main circuit board of a computer. MIBs are like translators that tell the monitoring system what the data from a device actually means. Question 39. What does SSID stand for? Small Signal Identification, Service Set Identifier, the name of a Wi-Fi network, System Service ID, Simple Site Identity. Auvik can monitor access points and show which SSIDs are active and which clients are connected to them. Question 40. What is latency in network monitoring? The time the technician is late for work, the delay in data transmission over the network, the weight of a network cable, the number of devices on a network. High latency, lag, can cause issues with real-time applications like VoIP or video conferencing. Question 41. What is jitter? A type of coffee, the variation in the delay of received packets, the sound of a fan, a physical vibration in the server rack. High jitter is especially problematic for voice and video quality. Question 42. What is a half-duplex connection? A connection that can only send or receive at one time, not both. A cable that is cut in half. A very fast connection. A connection used only for charging. Auvik can detect half-duplex mismatches which often indicate a bad cable or misconfigured port. Question 43. What does the History tab on a device show? The date the device was bought. A timeline of all alerts and status changes for that specific device. The browser history of the device users. A list of previous owners. The History tab is essential for troubleshooting when a problem started. Question 44. What is packet loss? When a technician drops a box. When data packets fail to reach their destination. A method for reducing file size. When a computer is stolen. Packet loss is a key indicator of network congestion or hardware failure. Question 45. Which of the following is a northbound integration in Auvik? Data flowing from the device to the collector. Data flowing from Auvik to a third-party management system like a PSA. Data flowing from the internet to the router. Data flowing from the user to the PC. Northbound integrations send data up from the monitoring platform to the management layer. Question 46. What is the Auvik collector ID? A number assigned to every device. A unique identifier for each collector instance used for troubleshooting and support. The technician's badge number. The IP address of the router. You often need the collector ID when contacting Auvik support for issues related to a specific site. Question 47. What does discovery in Auvik mean? Finding a new planet. The process of identifying all devices on a network through scanning. Reading a science magazine. Developing a new product. Discovery is the magic of Auvik, where it finds everything from the core switch to the breakroom smart fridge. Question 48. What is WMI primarily used to monitor? Cisco switches, Windows servers and workstations, Linux firewalls, HP printers. WMI is the Windows-specific management protocol used for deep insight into Windows OS. Question 49. What is a custom alert in Auvik? An alert that only works on weekends. A user-defined notification based on specific OIDs or conditions not covered by defaults. A colorful alert. An alert that plays a song. Custom alerts allow you to monitor specific things like donor level or UPS battery health. Question 50. What is VLAN, Virtual Local Area Network? A physical cable. A logical subgrouping of devices within a network. A very large area network. A type of Wi-Fi. Auvik maps show different VLANs to help visualize how traffic is segmented. Question 51. What is a broadcast storm? A bad thunderstorm. Excessive broadcast traffic that consumes all bandwidth and stalls the network. A new TV station. A high-speed internet connection. Auvik can alert you when broadcast traffic exceeds a healthy percentage of total traffic. Question 52. How does Auvik help with lifecycle management? It tells you when to retire. It identifies old or end-of-life hardware based on manufacturer data. It tracks the age of the employees. It recycles old cables. Auvik can help identify which switches are no longer supported by the vendor and need replacement. Question 53. What is MAC address? A physical address in Scotland. A unique identifier assigned to a network interface controller, NIC, a type of IP address, the password for a Mac computer. Auvik uses MAC addresses to uniquely identify hardware even if the IP address changes. Question 54. What is IP address? A physical mailing address. A numerical label assigned to each device connected to a computer network, the name of the computer, the serial number of the router. IP addresses are used for routing and identifying devices on the logical network. Question 55. What is a subnet mask? A mask worn by a hacker. A number that defines the range of IP addresses in a network. A security setting for emails. A type of screen protector. The subnet mask helps the collector know which IP range to scan for discovery. Question 56. What is default gateway? The main entrance to the office. The router that connects a local network to the internet or other networks. The first device ever made. A type of software firewall. The gateway is the exit for traffic leaving the local network. Question 57. What is the dashboard in Auvik? The steering wheel of a car. The main landing page showing a summary of network health and status. A place to store tools. The screen on a printer. The dashboard gives an at-a-glance view of all current issues across the network. Question 58. What is remote management? Managing a network from a different location. Having a boss who lives far away. Using a TV remote. A type of wireless mouse. Auvik allows IT professionals to see and manage complex networks from anywhere in the world. Question 59. What is bandwidth? The physical width of a router. The maximum rate of data transfer across a network path. The number of users on a network. The length of a network cable. Monitoring bandwidth helps ensure that the ISP connection is sufficient for the business's needs. Question 60. What is Auvik Assist? A human assistant provided by Auvik. An AI-powered tool that provides troubleshooting suggestions for detected alerts. A type of insurance. A help button in the software. Auvik Assist uses machine learning to suggest the likely cause of an issue based on network data.